Hey, you're going to be joining a video. It's not my own, but it's called Water Tower Collapse Compilation. And as we're going to watch these demolitions that are going to be done on water towers, we're going to ask ourselves a few questions. Okay? So here comes one down right now, and let's pretend you are there, and let's pretend that was filled with water. How much water really spewed out? Here's another one, okay? Pretend you're right there where the camera is. How much water came out? Here's another one. Ask yourself the question, how much water is really coming out? Okay, and that would give you some idea of, quote, the storage capacity of these things, if they are about water. Now, my thesis is they're not about water at all. They are about electricity. Okay, now you're standing right in front of that and it's leaking out. How much water is really coming out? So that's a pretty basic question to ask if they say they're for water storage. Now, they're not really used for sending water out, because all you do is pressurize a line and the water will go from high pressure to low pressure. So water can travel based on the usage of pressure. So it's not about pressure and it's not about storage. Look at it, okay? Come on now. It looks like the hat on the Tin Man of the Wizard of Oz, all right? So let's put on our thinking caps and ask ourselves some questions. What really has been going on with these things called water towers? Okay? The water system does not need them for pressure because they're pressurized at other ends of the line in the system. And the water will flow from high to low pressure. Obviously, they're not storage. Okay, you're standing there and that busted open and water's coming out. Are you really afraid? If you're back where the camera is, okay, you're right where the camera is, right? Here it comes. Boom. Now, how much water gushed out? Now, that's a good question to ask as we watch this compilation together. Now, another question to ask is, if they're so necessary, why aren't they seen everywhere all the time? In other words, you can go through different towns and not see one. All right? So if they're so extremely necessary, why aren't they more numerous all around our land? And if they are so necessary, why are we watching a compilation of demolition of water towers? Now, they're getting less and less. Okay? And there might be reasons for that in the electrical grid system. That's a little bit above and beyond my abilities to discern. But here we go. Now, another question to ask might be, if these things are really about water, why is there never any mention of, when they're doing something like this, oh, the water is going to be shut off everywhere because the water tower is getting blown up? Now, like right now, where's the evidence that underneath that thing there's a main water pipe? Okay, where's the evidence? Another question might be, why is it that all water towers are basically metal? Now, there might be exceptions with the railroad system when they had steam engines and they had water towers to fill, just simply put water in the steam engines, and you see a lot of those were perhaps made of wood. But every tower that you see falling down is made of metal. Now, why is that? Because metal is a conductor of electricity. Yes, any type of metal. In fact, I was just talking the other day to someone who grew up under the tutelage of his father, who was an electrician. So his father was always teaching him about electricity. And I asked him about kind of a scary moment he might have had growing up with his father getting instructed in electricity. And he said, well, one time he was at a house with his father, and he went to touch the kitchen sink pipe to get some water or something, and he got a really big jolt, because what had happened was the water heater elements had shorted out, and instead of the electricity just stopping, it went back through the water pipes and came out right on the metal spigot in the kitchen and gave him a real good shock. But the origin of the problem was in the hot water tank and the heating elements getting shorted out and so forth. So the electric line was actually the water pipe, and it became a hot line even though it was a water pipe. So metal that is used in a water tower can and will conduct electricity. So keep asking yourself a lot of questions about these water towers, and maybe where you're at and in your drive or your observation powers that you have. You might be able to do a little bit of an analysis yourself wherever you're at, and take a look at these things, okay? Again, my thesis is they have nothing to do with water, zero. But they have everything to do with electricity. The capturing of and the retaining of and the usage of electricity in the free electrical grid system, which is basically the atmosphere, okay? So electricity is captured or harvested from the atmosphere down in through another electrical grid system, which is basically your wires that you see in your hometown, okay? There are no, quote, generating systems. If I ask you to drive me to your generating system in your hometown, you won't find it. Hoover Dam is a hoax. Now, that might be a subject for a video too, but Hoover Dam is a hoax. It was meant to hoax people that electricity is somehow manufactured. And it is true, you can manufacture electricity, but that's the deception. It's not being manufactured, it's being captured, it's being harvested, it's being pulled out of the atmosphere and pulled down to earth, and then retained in an electrical grid system, whereby then we are all receiving from it and paying bills to a company that essentially is capturing it out of the atmosphere and bringing it down into a system, and then retaining ownership of that system, and then charging you some money for usage of the electricity. So keep this all in mind when you're out and about and you're looking around you and you're driving somewhere and you see, quote, a water tower. And just take a good look at it and ask yourself, what is it really? Why is it located right where it's located? And do you really think there was water in it, or is water in it currently? And if so, why are you watching a compilation of all kinds of water towers coming down if they were so useful in the water system? You can see right there, oh, here's a good shot of the base system. Okay, what really is that hooked up to? Okay, we should be seeing some type of a big connecting valve, or some type of a big retention valve or something right underneath that thing. We should be seeing a lot more than what we're seeing. We're just seeing pretty much a flat spot. You're not really seeing a whole lot where those towers are located and their base. So when they come down, what should be there? And what are we seeing? Essentially, we're not seeing much at all, because basically there was never water in them to begin with. Okay? Well, if you'd like to see this video in its entirety, it is available online. What you're watching is not my own video, but the comments that you're hearing are certainly my own, all right? So I want to thank you, and I would like for you to post some comments or your thoughts about water towers, supposedly water towers. Once again, take a look at where's the big water main there below? Where's the big connection to the system? And I'd like to thank you for watching this video.